basically, this is a setup that I typically like to use. A lot of people find an SM7 very weird for a hi-hat. Basically, you see the pencil mics and stuff on it. I really like the SM7 because it's if anybody's ever used it, you have to really crank a mic pre up to really get the colorization of the mic pre instead of getting colorization of the mic. So I can drive like a Neve really hard, get a gritty sound with it, and the mic stays pretty transparent. I do a little high-end boost on the SM7 just to give a little bit of that high-end clarity like you would have a condenser on it. But yeah, it's just more about getting the colorization of the pre instead of getting too bright of a hi-hat. I'd rather EQ it as bright as I need it to, because you can always add it and it's harder to kind of take things away, in my opinion. On snare, a lot of people like different things. A lot of people do SM57. I'm doing this Sennheiser 441. Has a little bit more bite to it. 57 on the bottom snare. And this is for like a rock setup, by the way, too. If I was doing, hip hop or jazz, I'd probably do some things different. I probably would go with a condenser on the hi-hat, maybe even a condenser on the snare. But for a rock project, I really want to get the sound of the Neve mic pre's and the SSLs and cranking them and stuff like that. Beta 52 on the inside of the kick drum has a nice fat oomph to it. D112 is another option, but a D112, if you're doing, I like D112s for metal. If you're doing something that's super attacky and clicky and punchy, that you really want that transient attack, like you hear on metal records, that would be my choice to go to. But for rock, Beta 52 just gives me more fat sound. I do different mics on the outside of the kick drum. I like to do U87s or KSM 44s, but they didn't want to blow out a U87 here and take that chance, which I don't blame them. But I do it a little distance back on the kick drum for a rock project, so I still get a little bit of room sound of the kick in the front of the head, but I'm able to go in later with some low-end boosters and get like almost a sub-kick type frequency out of it instead of using an actual Yamaha sub-kick. I'm actually getting the sound of the front of the head and can get those sub-frequencies, so I bypass that. MD421 on toms, my favorite tom mic. I'm not using this one, so it's sitting all crooked. That's not typically how I mic it. I do it more of a straight down pattern of really close to the tom. So where the attack head is, you're going to direct impact right there. So MD421, some granule rack toms. For floor toms, I really like the sound of the attack of the bottom head, just the thud and the high end of it. So I've got a U87 on that. Kind of, as you can see, a few inches off, like maybe 4 inches off the drum, angled slightly, pointed towards there. This one looks like it's been hit several times, but it's kind of in this position so the drummer does not hit it, but I'm still going to get enough low end frequency to pick up on there. Looks like an AKG that they set up for the ride, but we're not using a ride today. This is typically, a lot of times, for if I'm using something super bright on hi-hats, I'd use this AKG on the hi-hats. Overheads, we're doing U87s. I just like U87s for pretty much almost everything. They sound really good, especially old classic vintage ones, and this is a match pair here, which is also a nice bonus because a lot of studios don't have match pairs of U87s. So besides that, got a couple room mics going here, got 2 mid-distance back. I'm not doing far room, so this would be considered mid-room. Stereo, and then we're setting up a mono right here so I can get a nice lower front of the kit perspective. Just really helps add to the mix. Typically, I'd like to crush the mono room with like an LA2A, just slam it. So if you want to blend that into the mix to get some more excitement out of a drum part, just to give it a little bit more bombastic energy, you can crank that up and just give it pointed in your face while keeping the rest of the kit pretty clean. So that's pretty much how I like to do drums. Experiment, find your own sound, find your own thing, but that's a good starting point.